Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I am Robo. Ooh, and there's a tingle in the air. There's electricity. It's the road to Toy Fair! In 3 short weeks, all these companies come together, start showing us new action figures, new toys. I've already booked my hotel, I've already booked my flight. Me and Veebs heading up there, gonna hang, looking at toys. But you would think, with it being the road to Toy Fair, companies would back off a little bit on showing stuff, but nope, that's not the case. Sure, it's not a lot of new stuff, but hey, it just keeps piling on. So let's talk about some Amazing Yamaguchi. Oh, you can already guess. You see this coming already. Some Bandai, some Marvel Legends, some NECA, some DC Collectibles, and whatever else. So let's just get to it. First up, we've been seeing a mystery figure that may or may not be an official SH Figuarts armored Thanos from Avengers. First, we saw a picture. It was kind of broken up. It had parts of the original Thanos, so we were unsure. Then we saw one all put together. This week, we have confirmation that it is a custom. Nothing wrong with that. It's a damn fine custom, though. A lot of people pointed out that it may be a little bit too weathered, a little bit too nicely done to be SH Figuarts. And you guys were right. I had my doubts, but maybe it was the optimist in me that was thinking, oh, I'm gonna need an armored Thanos in my Figuarts line. But some people are saying that the first picture we saw with the broken up Thanos, the details don't quite match the finished custom Thanos. So is that still out there, or is that preliminary sculpt? I don't know. But again, we probably won't see much at Toy Fair, but I have a feeling Bandai is going to push another Thanos this year. Next up, just in case you didn't know, Kyoto, this little company, they make Revoltech figures. They've got a line of Amazing Yamaguchi Marvel and DC figures. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty cool. It's articulated. Some of them are a little bit frustrating. Some of them are freaking amazing. And there's more Iron Man pictures. What more do you want from me? You know it's going to be a good figure when the artist is like, here's this pose, here's different stuff. And honestly, I had to go back and look at the accessories list, the pictures showing all the, and make sure that some of the stuff plugged onto this Iron Man wasn't just random stuff from other action figures. You can see he's got the blasts, he's got the extra knee thing just in case, for that extra, yeah! And even the rockets that we've only seen on the back so far, blasting out and stuff, you can put that into parts on his arm. And yeah, this is where I was like, does that rocket come with that? Oh, it does, look at that. So I know you're probably sick of seeing it. I'm not. Not at all. You keep on showing me pictures until this thing actually releases, and then even when it's in my hands, oh, it is still going to be amazing. Yamaguchi. See what I did there? Bandai has posted new promotional shots of the Figurized Standard Dragon Ball Ultra Instinct Goku and Full Power Broly. And that is just in time for their actual release, which I've already paid for and it's shipped. So just a couple of days before, they were like, hey, look at this. And maybe it's to garner more excitement as it releases. And then again, the movie being out right now. But both are looking pretty good, but it's no surprise. It's just pretty pictures of the same thing we knew was coming. I didn't order the Broly, I did order the Goku because it was different enough from the other couple that I have on the shelf already. And I'm a fan of silver, as you'll see here at the end of this video. Those are shipping right now. So if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, if you're a fan of the model kits, there you go. Go and order one. Now take all of that and apply it to the Star Wars model kit R2-Q5. We already knew this was coming. Astromech, R2, black, orange. It's going to be nice in the Death Star display. And I'm glad to see that even companies have a dust problem. Dang shiny black. I know, I feel your pain. No, not quite as exciting because it's essentially R2 in different colors. We've pretty much gotten this model kit before. It's not as exciting as the R4-I9 that just looked at, was it a couple weeks ago? Years ago. It's been years. But it's a different character, so I cannot help it. I'm gonna have to eventually build that Super Ultra Instinct Super Saiyan R2 that they put out a couple months ago with all the extra stuff on it, because the R2-Q5 also comes with extra parts for that R2 unit. I'm never gonna show R2 with all the bibs and bobs and everything sticking out of them, but options are cool. I'm not going to grab about options. This has also already shipped to me. This is the first model kit that I've been able to order directly to my house from Amazon Japan. So maybe the Bluefin agreement has kind of opened up the shipping restrictions that have been on the action figure model kits for a while, at least in the Star Wars variety. Now Bandai, come on, you got to show more Star Wars model kits. Daddy needs an IG-88. Last week we saw some upcoming Marvel Legends pop up on eBay. This week we saw it again. That's that's the theme of today's show, is stuff we've already seen, just posed a little bit different. Nighthawk, it's a Bucky Cat body with a different paint job and a weird poppy-uppy cape. Little short Wolverine claws on it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not disparaging Nighthawk at all. I need more for that team though. Living Laser, looking all hot, looking all pink, looking all white, translucent. This one looks a little bit better than the one we saw. The one we saw last week had some scratches on it and stuff. This one's a little bit cleaner. And then Hercules, even with the matching background of the rest of the figures, I still can't get an idea in my head of his true size. Is he bigger? Is he taller? That and the shoulders are looking a little bit weird. They're sculpted inward. They're going into, is there extra articulation in those arms? I don't know. I should have just overpaid, got it in my hands, because it's going to drive me nuts until I find out what's going on there. But like a lot of other stuff I'm talking about today, we'll probably find out more at Toy Fair! Because next up, guess what? Hasbro showed some more promotional images of the XMen Legends Caliban wave. This time, they're loose. That's completely different from the way we've seen it before. With Skullbuster, we get a little bitter for some people because they don't like the Reavers or don't remember who they are. I remember. I love the 80s X-Men. Give me some Reavers. But we get a better look at Reese, who I'm still trying to figure out which body to use under it. We're getting the head. Maybe they'll release Macon or Cole later on, and this head is meant for that. Or Macon and Cole, or their heads will show up in different, and then it's like a madcap situation where you gotta find a body and you don't know what's going on. I just know I need more Reavers. Tricky Hasbro showing Beast in a one handstand. Can he actually do this? More than likely. There's a lot of figures that can do stuff like this. Marvel Legends, not as hard to do as you would think. Forge, looking like Forge. Not the most exciting character in the comics, but that's not the figure's fault. That's the comics. And I know Forge did a lot. His amazing power to build stuff. I guess I just never forgave Forge for what he did to Storm. Bastard. Gambit looking pretty sweet. The closer we get to this wave, the less I look forward to that trench coat again. The sweet thing here is the effects, the card throwing, the staff, and really the overall look at Gambit. I'm excited to get him back on the shelf because I never really cared for the Toy Biz one, all spindly and... But he's got a cloth jacket. Can I steal that? Jubilee, alternate heads, one with the bubble gum. We've seen that the glasses come off at least one head. Will she be able to take the goggles and put them up here? I don't know. That's another thing we're waiting to see. Weapon X, a better look at his alternate head. Yes, it is a little bit odd looking, but the more I think about it, the more I think back to Marvel Comics Presents. The hair matches that pretty well. But like I said last week, or I may have said last week, or maybe I just thought it while sitting in the toy room the other day, but he's gonna keep the mask on. Blink, we found out in the carded shot that she comes with a portal. I'm excited about that. And when I first saw this picture, I did not think that she was actually coming out of the portal, like they photoshopped her legs off or something. I completely saw that the knees were bent and the legs were behind her. That's my story. And finally, the Caliban Build-A-Figure. I would have kind of preferred the little skinny version. That's how I remember him. But this is cool too. Big monster, and I'm liking the shading around the eyes. That's a weird thing to point out, as that's my favorite part. His eyeliner. But it just adds something. Now, seeing loose shots again, carded shots last week, these have to be going up for pre-order at some point soon. I think the release date is March, April, but it's gotta be quicker than that, right? Speaking of coming up quick, here's another shot of the Target exclusive Star Force version of Captain Marvel. This time around, it has all the parts to make Minerva. It's got the scarf, it's got the extras, it's got the... And it's not a perfect match for the movie, but it's close enough. With what time they had for... I don't know how much screen time Minerva's gonna get, so getting an action figure of her out there, that makes me want to buy two of these because I dig the green and black look. Hasbro, you're killing me! Now this and the Walmart exclusive binary with the flame hair and the flame effects, those have both been found in the Philippines, so they should be hitting here soon. Knowing Walmart, it'll probably be July, August, but the Target one should pop up fairly quickly. Also popping up overseas is the Walgreens exclusive Marvel Legends Mystique. Another case of, here's a head, you figure out the rest, which I'm okay with. Lalandra doesn't seem like a likely candidate for full figure in a wave somewhere, she may be way off the radar of a lot of casual collectors. So getting the head, which is the hardest part of a custom when it comes down to it, I can see the people who don't like it. I can see their side of the story. But on my side, it's like, oh, I'll just find a body. Been popping up overseas for pre-orders. A lot of the eBay auctions, though, say March, April. But according to my buddy Troy in Canada, EB Games up there is taking pre-orders if you come into the store and pre-order it in person. I can't remember the SKU. I can't remember the SKU number off the top of my head. It should be somewhere down here, hopefully, if I remember it by that point. And EB Games is giving an arrival date of February 15th. Again, the weekend of Toy Fair! Whether or not they will actually show up on that date, don't know, but that's what they're saying. That's all I can give you. Here's a little thing. Take it with a grain of salt. This has just been floating around the internet for a week. It looks like internal Target numbers or something showing what appears to be Toon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from NECA. It says it's a 2-pack, that it's $52. So it sounds like, the word on the mean toy streets of the internet, speculation says that this is probably the 2017 Toon Turtles or video game Turtles. Hopefully repainted a little bit to make it a little bit different, released as 2-packs. So that'd be, you know, the Turtles and then Krang, 2-Foot Soldiers, and Shredder all mixed and matched together. If that is true, we already know that NECA is getting the 1990 TMNT figures out to GameStop. Maybe this is another lightening of the license a little bit, allowing them to get the other figures out to Target. It'd be pretty sweet. Keeping with NECA for a second, last week they said they were going to get this Predator out to market sometime this year. Now, if you remember this Predator, it was originally shown at 2017's Toy Fair with a Batman figure, an armored Batman. They also showed a Superman. They also showed a regular Batman. Now, we don't know if they're going to actually get the DC figures out with the Predator and the aliens, but this tweet right here asking if we'll see them, NECA is being a little bit cagey, but it looks like the license there may have opened up a little bit, or they're just going to sneak these out somehow like they have before. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to these figures. Once again, we should know more at Toy Fair! This week, DC Collectibles solicited, that's hard to say real quick, I already can't speak good English in the first place, DC solicitations. But the DC Essentials Red Hood has been solicited. Now, you see the figure. I have my problems with Essentials, the length of the arms, the kind of gangliness, but overall, they look like good action figures. The figure is said to come with, and let me get the wording right here, comes with a small arsenal of weapons, but why wouldn't you show that with the solicitation? Now, I know not every company shows everything up front. Hell, there's some companies that announce stuff later down the road. But if you're kind of struggling with action figures like DC Collectibles seems to be, you want to come out swinging. But at the same time, it appears Warner Brothers Consumer Products has absorbed DC Collectibles this week. What that means for the future, who knows? Maybe they'll just go full statue, or they're going to concentrate on different things. There's changes a-coming. DC Collectibles has already started putting more eggs in the statue basket, less in the action figures, which sucks. I would have liked to have seen those last waves of icons. And while I haven't been doing Essentials, there are people that have been enjoying it. So what this means, I don't know. Popping up this week, Diamond Select has shown the next Marvel Select figure, and it's comic. It's X-Men. It is Psylocke. Now, first impression, it looks fantastic. It really does. I like the face sculpt. I like the hair. I like how they sculpted on the wraps instead of just painting them. That's a step forward. But the more I look at it, the more I think the legs are a little bit long, the arms are a little bit thin. But at the same time, you go back to 90s art, and I mean, it's pretty close. Plus, when you get this thing into poses instead of just standing straight up and down, and it may look a little bit better. Now, it comes with an alternate head. She's got gritting teeth on that one, a little bit angrier. The butterfly effect looks great, but is it attached to that head, or does it attach to both heads? It comes with at least one alternate hand, and then the psychic knife, which is the focused totality of her psychic powers. In case you didn't know, I'm sure she's mentioned that a couple times in the comics. $28, yes, we're seeing kind of a price hike with Marvel Select. We're going to see where that goes. And it's estimated to come out in June. This week, Medicom showed their... What is this? Am I meditating? What's going on? Because this figure brings me peace, tranquility, focus. But they solicited their MAFEX Marvel Comics Wolverine. And oh man, ooh,
So pretty.
The MAFEX Gwenpool has already come out. We already know it's good quality. Sure, there's some paint slop here and there, but overall, the figure looks fantastic. The comic-style Spider-Man that was supposed to release this month has been pushed to next month. That's not a big deal. We're used to it with MAFEX. They just push. If they say June, it's going to be July most of the time. But this Wolverine's going to make an amazing addition to the shelf along with their Spider-Mans, their Gwenpools, and then the Deadpool. It's very 90s style. It's got the exaggerated mask wings. Not my favorite look, but I know it's accurate. Or, you know, when you were reading the comics and that guest artist came on and they kind of overdid a couple of things, that's what it reminds me of. But it's okay. That's the look from back then. Another thing a lot of people have a problem with are the length of the claws. They're longer than his forearm, which is so unrealistic. Don't get me wrong, y'all got good points. Yes, even in the realm of X-Men and comic books, where does the extra foot of metal go when it goes into his arm? I understand that. But when it's out and it just looks badass, can't help it. That's just me. The unmasked head is, yeah, it's one of the better ones we've gotten in the past few years. Like the wings on the mask, the wings in the hair may be a little bit overdone, but again, it's Logan. And the shading they did on it with the blue, hopefully the final product comes out looking like this. Like I said, paint slop is still a little problem that Medicom has. I'm not worried about the articulation and such. It should be pretty good. My thing is what the unmasked head is going to look like in final product. And then to get incredibly nitpicky, the blue stripes on here, it does kind of stand out. I'm used to seeing black there. But you get some other alternate hands and then a down masked for when you have the unmasked head on. That's attention to detail. That's great. Yes, we have the Hasbro figures, and I'm completely in love with the proportions there. This may be a little bit skinny, but they list him at 145 millimeters, which is around 5.5 inches. Now, if that's to the top of the horns, he's going to be short, and that's going to work perfectly. But even if that's to the top of the head, I'm okay with it being around 5.5 inches. I've been afraid of the size. We'll know more when Spider-Man comes out. He seems a little bit large, but again, waiting. It's listed for $70, and it's going to be out in November, which will be December or January by the time it comes around. So a year from now, I hope to be enjoying this Wolverine with the rest of my X-Men figures in the display. Just today, Mezco has teased some of their upcoming 1/12 collective figures, and oh, yeah, most of them are pretty obvious. I was going to say some percentage, and I'm not in the mood for math right now because I'll screw it up, and then I'll just get comments of, "Hey, dumbass, it was 80%. But as far as I can tell, on the far end, we have Hellboy. It's probably the new movie look with the longer hair. The head seems to be a little bit down, that's why you don't see the horns poking out, but he's got the right hand. That's gotta be Hellboy. Next up is my mystery one. I'm not quite sure who it is. A lot of people are speculating that it's Wonder Woman, given the armor look down at the knees. But it also could be Rogue, right? Or maybe I just want to see more X-Men figures in the 1/12 collective line. In the middle, pretty sure that is movie Captain Marvel. It's her armored look with the helmet, mohawk on top. It's gotta be. Next up, who could that be? Comic style Harley Quinn. She's got the... Next up, the Harley Quinn threw me off. I'm terrible at word scrambles. I'm terrible at silhouettes. You put certain letters in a row and tell me to unscramble it, my brain just goes, my first guess on this was a classic style Joker. You know, the old where he had the hair sticking out, but after being told, hey, that's Pennywise. It's the hair, it's the cuffs, it's gotta be. And with that, and the MAFEX, and the several NECA Pennywise figures that are absolutely amazing. How many Pennywises am I going to need on my shelf? All of them! And then the one over here is the Mezco mascot, Gomez. They're going to be revealing these and the Living Dead dolls and several other things in the weeks ramping up to Toy Fair! And then I'm sure we'll see most of these in person in the booth at... What are they doing this? Toy Fair! Now here's a cool little thing I was tagged in on Instagram. A group of sculptors in the Dominican Republic, I believe they said, has come up with this little cute-ass goblin figure. 1/12 scale, they call it a Plunderling, and I'm interested. On top of it being a cute little goblin figure, the articulation in that smaller figure, it's got me. I'm really wanting to find out what's going on there. Sure, you can probably guess, but I need to know ranges. I need to know just how crazy it can get. Now they've only produced a couple of prototypes, so they can't get it in crazy poses, because that's how prototypes work. They don't have the full articulation of the final figure. But if there is enough interest, they're going to put this up on Kickstarter later in the year. So go over to their Instagram, give them a follow, let them know what you think, because I want one of these figures in my life. It can go anywhere on the shelf. They also shot me a video showing a pants version of the same figure. So that's cool too. I think I may like it even better. Again, Plunderlings, Instagram, go see what's going on. And that's it for today, or, well, that's all I got in me. This week, I've been playing with the liquid chrome pin from Molotov, and I've seen a lot of customizers talk about this online, and I thought, no way. Oh, but yeah, it actually does work fairly well. It's not perfect mirror finish, but it's pretty close, and it's easy. You just slop and then keep slopping. Once it starts to dry, you want to stop and let it dry and then come back with another coat. But when you're first applying it, you think, this is never going... It does work. So yeah, I'll have to find more stuff to use this on. So if you like today's weekly, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.